Hello and welcome. It was an emotionally charged day for Tamil Nadu as one of her beloved daughter passed away, Jayalalithaa. In the next 1 hour, we'll take you through the life and times of Jayalalithaa, who wanted to become a doctor but became a superstar and ended up as Tamil Nadu Chief Minister.
Well, Jayalalithaa was a towering figure over here, and she not just broke the glass ceiling but also was a tall leader, not just here in Tamil Nadu but also at the national level. To talk about this, we have with us today Dhanya Rajendran, Editor-in-Chief of the News Minute, as well as Jayanti Natarajan, Union Minister, who will be joining us over the next 1 hour to discuss the events of today and what its implications are.
Jayalalitha's life started in Bishop Cotton School in Bangalore. To understand this phenomenon called Jayalalithaa, we have to understand what kind of person she was as a student. Her teachers describe her as a silent but very intelligent and astute student who always who kept to herself. She was from Karnataka but with origins from Srirangam here in Tamil Nadu. This is how her life was, her childhood was. We managed to get some of the rare photographs of Jayalalithaa from her childhood.
To gauge a person's legacy, one must look to their past. Piecing together the life of the matriarch of Madras took us back to her school, Bishop Cotton's.
We are here at the Bishop Cotton's Girls High School, where Jayalalithaa did her early schooling. From 1952 to 1958, almost 6 years, Jayalalithaa completed her schooling from Standard 1 to Standard 6. The principal who we spoke to remembers her to be a bright child who actively participated in all school activities.
We pay our condolences and we are in grief. She studied in our school from 1952 to 1958. She studied from LKG to Standard 4 in our school, and she was a good student.
This rare photograph shows a 9-year-old Jaya sitting cross-legged in the front row along with her classmates at Bishop Cotton School.
Remember her to be a bright child with a few friends along with her for daily activities. If we recall the early days of Jayalalithaa, she had a good childhood, but it was quite painful too.
Fluent in 6 languages and an accomplished dancer, Jaya is remembered as a quiet and intelligent student.
Jayalalitha's mother went on to join the school of drama and art, and she started taking roles in few Tamil movies. In fact, Jayalalithaa, when she was 6 years, was asked to move to Chennai with her mother as her aunt Padmavalli got married.
With Jay Prakash in Chennai, Bureau Report,
This
NewsX.
is the story of a girl before she became a superstar. Not many know that Jayalalithaa was not very keen on a career in acting. However, because of circumstances, she was forced to enter the film industry. The rest, as they say, is history.
Born on the 24th of February 1948, she was just 2 years old when her father died, and she and her mother went to live with her grandfather, who was a surgeon with the King of Mysore. Her mother, a struggling actress called Sandhya, nudged the little Jayalalithaa to start acting. In 1961, she was just 13 years old when she starred in her first film. She gave her first hit film 3 years later. She even acted in one Hindi film called Izzat against Dharmendra as a male co-star in 1968. Jayalalithaa made an impact on the then mega superstar MGR, who cast her in his films. She took her books and studies to her sets, studying and shooting films together. MGR's and Jayalalitha's chemistry made history. The two acted in more than 20 films, all super hits. Her last film in Tamil was in 1980, but the last film she worked on in which she played the lead heroine was a Telugu film in the same year, which became the highest grosser of the year.
ఒక చిన్నది అన్నది పాడను పాడను పాడనని ఒకటే మాట 10 సార్లంటే అది పాట కాక మరి ఏమిటని ఒక చిన్నోడు నన్నన్నాడు పాడు 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 అని ఒకటే మాట 10 సార్లంటే అది పాడు కాక ఇంకేమిటని.
Jayalalithaa ruled the roost in Tamil cinema, after which she gracefully moved on to her political life.
సొగసుకు పొగరు ఆకుకు సున్నం వంటిది లేకుంటే ఆడది అంకెలేని సున్నవుతుంది. సొగసుకు పొగరు ఆకుకు సున్నం వంటిది లేకుంటే ఆడది అంకెలేని సున్నవుతుంది. ఒకలాంటి పురుషుడు పడుతోడుండాలి లేకుంటే పదవి పండదని నీకు తెలియాలి. ఒక చిన్నది అన్నది పాడను పాడను పాడని ఒకటే మాట 10 సార్లంటే అది పాడరాక మరి ఏమిటని.
From Ammu to Amma, journey for Jayalalithaa has been filled with trials and tribulations. Born in Karnataka, this Brahmin girl had to fight lot of problems, lot of struggles in her life. She had to fight misogyny, she had to fight caste politics. Be it in her film career or in the political career, she had to fight for her own. Having MGR as her mentor was both boon and bane. Boon because he introduced her into politics, bane because he went on to strip her of all her posts while her rivals stripped her dignity. Here is the journey of Jayalalithaa from a superstar to Tamil Nadu Chief Minister.
A star is born in Karnataka who will one day rule Tamil Nadu. Jayalalithaa is born in Mysuru in an orthodox Tamil Brahmin family and blossomed in Chennai. She topped the state in class 10 and was fluent in 6 languages, an intellect and linguistic prowess which would prove to be essential. Under the tutelage of Guru Sarasa, she became an accomplished dancer as well. At the tender age of 13, Jaya makes her debut as a child artist. She acted in English, Kannada and Hindi. Epistle, the only English movie in her career, was the first movie she started shooting for. She would study through the week and shoot on the weekends.
You find how she has single-handedly, she has had no political pedigree, no one to help her when her mother passed away when she was just 21, and MGR's closeness was also very uncertain because of his coterie pulling him away from her. And so it was such a difficult life she had, and she fought it through, you know, she fought every obstacle.
Wise beyond her years, by age 15, Jaya was ready to take center stage. She debuts as a lead actress in a Kannada film called Chinnada Gombe or The Golden Girl. Her debut in Tamil films with Vennari Adai was a huge success. In the same year, she acts opposite M.G. Ramachandran. A relationship blossomed which went on for 2 decades. First as a co-star and later as a political protege. After a 10-year separation from MGR, the two of them paired for the last time on silver screen in 1973. And 28 super hit films later, their collaboration ends with MGR scripting his political career.
She was able to be a despot, a benevolent despot if you like. She was able to use what the state had to offer to create and to fashion policies which basically meant her perpetuation.
With her mentor MGR taking over the reins of Tamil Nadu in 1977, she began nursing political ambitions. In 1982, an eloquent Jaya joins the AIADMK, and a year later she's promoted as its propaganda secretary.
MGR, gave her some important assignments like, inducting her into the noon meal scheme committee and other things. So her growth in the party from 1982 to 87 till MGR's death was gradual and, it was very noticeable one. In 84, she was made as Rajya Sabha member also.
After several ups and downs, MGR's demise divided the party. One faction is led by Jaya and the other by MGR's wife Janaki.
You have to understand the experience she has been through the cinema world, and she is very sensitive to insults and imagined insults and misconstrued insults. So therefore it's very difficult for her to fight, not to fight with someone whom she has a coalition in which she has almost an equal position with that person. People who bow and scrape before her, she has no difficulty.
It was a trial by fire for Jaya. Denounced by some as an outsider, she fought both caste politics and misogyny and positioned herself as the nemesis of Karunanidhi. Jaya rose into power in the 1991 elections with an astounding victory, humiliating DMK, which won only 2 seats.
I think negatives are much more than positives. This is my opinion.
And with this began the rise and the rise of the matriarch of Madras.
And joining us at this point of time, along with my colleague Priyamvada, let us also welcome a former Union Minister of the UPA, Jayanti Natarajan, as well as Dhanya Rajendran of the News Minute. I'll begin with you first, Jayanti Natarajan. What we are discussing is the huge difficulties that, Jayalalithaa had to undergo, not just at the level of her transition from the world of cinema to the world of politics, the immense amount of challenges. You, someone who, of course, has worked in the area of politics, in your discussions or at any point of time in your interactions with Jayalalithaa, did she share with you any of the most difficult moments or the most dire moments that were an important challenge for her to overcome?
No, I've had several interactions with her, but for the most part, we were on opposite sides of the political fence. So she certainly didn't confide in me what obstacles she might have faced. But whatever discussions we've had were very pleasant discussions about a shared love of reading, about the books she had read, that she was sorry that she didn't have time to read anymore. About world issues, about general topics, and but having watched her closely, I've known her since I was a child. She attended my wedding. I've watched her closely, and I've seen that the kind of trials and tribulations and obstacles, seemingly insurmountable obstacles, which even for a normal politician, a male politician, particularly for a woman, Ms. Jayalalithaa fought them fiercely, fought them with determination, fought them with an absolutely focused and single-minded determination to succeed. And she was so focused that she had to succeed and believed in herself. I think that quality of determination stood her in very great stead. The obstacles she faced were absolutely enormous, but the kind of opportunities that opened up to her were also equally amazing. It's not often that a major superstar can transition into a very serious mass charisma, a leader filled with charisma. There are several other superstars who tried their hand in the political arena and have not succeeded. But she, like her mentor MGR, had enormous political appeal across all sections of society, particularly in Tamil Nadu.
Actually, Jayanti, if you could just hold your thought, I would like to ask Danya. Danya, she was an actress. She wanted to become a doctor. Then she became a dancer, actress, and then ended up becoming one of the tallest political leaders in India. How did she gain that political acumen? What kind of role did MGR play in her life?
Well, if I could just draw your attention to something very strange. Jayalalitha's Samadhi is going to be here, and it lies next to MGR and Anna. Anna was the one who had actually taken MGR out of cinema and into politics, and it was MGR who has done this now with Jayalalithaa. In fact, he was the one who motivated, perhaps inspired her to come to politics. But we cannot, of course, discount the fact that she too was an ambitious person who saw that she perhaps had the capability to be a good politician. But there was a down spiral, which you also mentioned earlier, that she was stripped out of all her posts in the party. When MGR died, she was strictly kept away from the AIADMK. Before that, she was not even given a ticket to contest. So she has gone through all those trials and tribulations, and then she has emerged. She fought back, and she became the supreme leader of the AIADMK. And for all these years, in all the decades after that, we have seen that she held on to that party. All the people who worked in that party never once questioned her leadership. At least in the last few years, there has been no problem of Jayalalithaa ever facing an issue in the party where someone questioned her leadership.
Now, Jayanti, I want to ask you that question. How is that possible? How was Jayalalithaa able to bring that party together, bring it under her control till her death? Her word was ultimate in the party. I don't think any other leader in Tamil Nadu could achieve that.
I think there are very few leaders in India who can achieve that, actually, Priyambada. I want to point out again a very strange anomaly. On the one hand, her word was law, and one would imagine, you know, if you were going to talk in a very academic way, that this was not particularly democratic in a political party. But on the other hand, in action, there was complete democracy, because just because you were made an MP, or you were given a ticket and you went to the parliament for one term, or an MLA, and came to the assembly for one term, did not mean that you were going to get it again. She was always reshuffling faces, she was always reshuffling people. People had to perform, they had to be on their toes, and in that sense, there was always fresh blood and fresh opportunity in her party. This is something that happens rarely in other parties, where people get set, you know, in hierarchies. And in the AIADMK, there was always a churning, there was always new faces. There were some stalwarts who were always there, but I think that it's amazing that for somebody whose word was law and who ruled the party with an iron fist, at the same time, she was able to keep the party in a constant state of dynamic movement.
Right, Jayanti, please stay with us. We will come back to you for more discussions on the same aspect. But let's first remember, she's known as Amma, the matriarch of Tamil Nadu. But many forget that she was already a huge cine star, from delivering back-to-back hits to over her 2-decade-long career and her pinnacle in this particular career. Let's take a look at Jayalalithaa and her life as a celluloid star.
Jaya, the politician, and the cult following she had is unparalleled. But Jaya was used to being in the limelight since her childhood days. Born in February 1948, Jaya took to Bharatanatyam when she was just 3. Encouraged by her family to take to cultural activities, Jaya did everything from dance to drama. Jaya made her debut in 1961 with the film Sri Shaila Mahatime, although the first film Jaya started shooting for was an English movie, but the movie got delayed and released later in 1966. In 1962, Jaya had a 3-minute dance sequence in a Hindi film, Man Mauji, and then went on to do several plays with her mother and aunt. Jaya's debut as the lead actress came in 1964 with the Kannada film Chinnada Gombe. Her Tamil film Vennira Ade also became a huge hit. Jaya's first film with MGR was Ayirathil Varuvan, that became a blockbuster, and they went on to do 27 films together from 1965 to 1973, with Pattikadu Ponnaya being their last film. During her long and accomplished career in films, Jaya won several awards and accolades, including the Filmfare for the Best Actress in Tamil half a dozen times. She also holds the record for being the only Tamil actress with maximum Silver Jubilee hits. The last time Jaya the actor shot for a film was for Nadiye Tedi Vandakadu before pledging all her time for active politics.
No other state in independent India has managed to survive the deadly combination of politics and cinema. And in Tamil Nadu, politics and cinema cannot be separated. Tamil Nadu's first woman chief minister, a second woman chief minister, Jayalalithaa too, followed the same path. She was first a dancer, then face of South Indian film industry, and she went on to become one of the most sought after heroines during her time.
रुक जा जरा इधर को चला रुक जा जरा इधर को चला मैं सच पे तेरे पे बाबू रे बाबू रे बाबू रे बाबू रे बाबू रे बाबू रे.
In the 60s and the 70s, Jayalalitha's domination in the Tamil film industry was complete. Her pairing with matinee idol MGR was absolute. In her heydays, she was the legendary beauty. Jayalalithaa acted in over 140 films, and she was the golden girl of Tamil cinema. Of these, 77 films ran for over 100 days and 18 for more than 25 weeks, starting from her debut film in 1965, which immediately catapulted her to stardom. A love triangle featuring Shrikant Nirmala and teenage Jayalalithaa, it was a huge commercial success. It set her on a course to superstardom in days to come. Her first movie was rated adults only, but the irony is that she could not watch her own debut movie in the theatres because she was not an adult. Her 140 films includes Tamil, Kannada, Telugu films opposite all top heroes of that time. Winning award in films from 1961 to 1980, Jayalalithaa was considered as one of the most prolific and most versatile actresses, having appeared in films of different genres and for performing wide variety of characters. And this went a long way in establishing her reputation as a multifaceted actor.
Remember what happened to her.
கணவன் கீத்த கோட்டை கடந்து அறியாள் அடியேன் மனைவி.
Yes, always yours sincerely.
A trained classical dancer, she showed off her dancing skills in most of her films.
என்னோடு இங்கே வா தென்றலே, நீ மறந்தால் நான் வரவா.
Jayalalithaa was the most popular heroine in South India, so much so that prestigious film magazines and journals saw her as an equivalent to Sharmila Tagore. She was endorsing brands and was hailed as a new cultural icon. In addition to acting, Jayalalithaa was a regular columnist, avid reader, orator, short story writer, and a novelist.
இன்று முதல் இவன் என் மெய்காப்பான்.
ராணி, இவன் ஆபத்தானவன்.
ஆனாலும் அஞ்சானேன். அவனை எல்லாம் மெச்சத்தக்க மாவீரன்.
பகைவனுக்கு பாராட்டா, அழிக்கப்பட வேண்டியவனுக்கு ஆரத்தியா.
தளபதியாரே, வீரம் எங்கிருந்தாலும் அதை பயன்படுத்திக் கொள்வதுதான் விவேகமான அரசியல்.
I'd like to request both our guests, Jayanti Natarajan as well as Dhanya Rajendran, to stay with us on this very special broadcast on the life and times of Jayalalithaa. On the life and times of Jayalalithaa. Well, it's the story of a mentor and a protege who created magic on screen and then went on to play a key role in this politics of the state of Tamil Nadu. It was MGR who spotted the political talent within Jayalalithaa and gave her her first break politically. And that's why she also is considered an important influence on her, bringing into her a sense of belonging into the politics of Tamil Nadu.
The year was 1965. A 17-year-old upcoming actress shared screen space with the iconic Tamil superstar M.G. Ramachandran. The on-screen pair would soon set out on a journey together that lasted for almost 2 decades. First as co-stars, later as political mentor and protege. They were loved by the masses. The silver screen collaboration then lasted for 28 films, ending with blockbuster Pattikattu Ponnaiya in 1973. But it wasn't a smooth ride for the two. Pressure from party colleagues forced MGR to act with other heroines. But the separation couldn't last long as destiny had something else on its mind. In 1977, MGR becomes Tamil Nadu's chief minister for the first time. But it took another 5 years to bring his famous on-screen partner to politics.
Jayalalithaa, basically a very sharp-minded person, used that opportunity, and MGR, gave her some important assignments like, inducting her into the noon meal scheme committee and other things.
1982, Jaya becomes an AIADMK party member. But the spark was evident given the huge reception to her debut speech titled Pennin Perumai, meaning greatness of women. In just a year, MGR appointed his protege as party's propaganda secretary, before sending her to Rajya Sabha, where she served till 1989. 3 years later, MGR passes away and the party is in complete disarray. Many still vividly remember the image of Jaya being pushed and abused by party leaders from atop the gun carriage carrying MGR's body during his funeral. In her own words, Jaya thought it a conscious attempt to teach her a lesson. The party soon broke into 2 factions, one led by MGR's wife Janki and the other by Jaya. Shortly after his death, his wife Janki formed the government in Tamil Nadu, but it lasted for only 21 days, dismissed by Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. 1989 and DMK sweeps the assembly polls, forcing Janki to quit the party, clearing the path for Jaya's accession as the political heir of her mentor MGR. It was only the start of Jaya's journey to becoming the chief minister, enjoying the same popularity as MGR.
MGR indeed played a very important role in Jayalalitha's life, be it in her film career or in her political career, but also towards his end days, the relationship between Jayalalitha and MGR was strained. Jayanti, if you're still with us, I would like to ask you this. You know Tamil Nadu politics quite well. You have seen MGR era, you have seen Jayalalitha era. What exactly went wrong between Jayalalitha and MGR? Was Jayalalitha slowly growing bigger, larger than MGR? Or was it because of certain rivals within the party who wanted to sideline Jayalalitha at that point of time?
I have no doubt whatsoever that a major section of the AIADMK, as an observer, and I had just not even begun perhaps my political career at the time, but as a keen observer, I have no doubt that a very powerful section of the AIADMK, very close to MGR as well, obviously mostly men, were totally against Jayalalitha and were determined to remove her from any proximity to the leader or from any kind of importance in the party. And these people moved heaven and earth to ensure that this was done. And she fought back. But I think they succeeded in some measure until she found a way to come back again to center stage.
Well, Jayanti, if I can ask you, Jayalalitha is known as a master politician, a master strategist, someone who loves to take people by surprise by her various moves. What is the one thing that Jayalalitha did throughout her political career that really took you by surprise? And would you like to share any interesting anecdotes that you may remember as far as your interactions or as far as Jayalalitha is concerned?
Well, actually several anecdotes. One is political. I've said it before. At that time, the Tamil Nadu Congress, of which I was a member, we were trying to have an alliance with her. We didn't even get an audience with her. We only spoke with her team regarding the seat sharing. And when those talks ran into rough weather, we decided to postpone it by a day, the talks. And the next day was the foundation day of the Tamil Nadu Congress. We then, all of us were on stage making speeches about the party, which was very successful at the time. And as we were speaking, television and radio were broadcasting the announcement of the AIADMK seats and candidates. So basically there were a lot of red faces on the stage. She had taken a decision, and it was her message to us: these are the seats you're getting, take it or leave it. And we had no choice but to take it. But the same person, when she decided, when things were going, very rough for her politically, she's the same person after a bitter enmity, political enmity with my then leader, Mr. G.K. Mupanar. The moment his grandson was born, she suddenly turned up at his residence, taking all of us by shock. And she came to see the child. She brought gifts for the child. She sat and talked with Mr. Mupanar and his family and all the rest of us. And there began an alliance which swept the polls thereafter. So she could do surprising things. She could do things that nobody would have expected. That Ms. Jayalalitha would turn up at Mr. Mupanar's house here in Mylapore just to see his grandson, Mr. Vasa's son. And after that, from that, an alliance would be born. Also on a personal level, I've had many conversations with her, like I said a little earlier, about books, about reading, and it was extraordinary, the range of her knowledge, the wit. She genuinely enjoyed new ideas. She genuinely enjoyed knowing about new things, and I think it was a great regret of hers that she didn't have time to pursue those interests, whether it was music or whether it was books. She totally enjoyed a good conversation about world affairs. She didn't have time to broaden her interest on those lines, and I think she always felt a regret that she did. She's told me that she's always wanted to be a lawyer, and she's told me that I was lucky to have been able to pursue that career for some time, that I had been lucky in many ways. I think it was a lasting regret of hers that she never ever, from the time she was a child, had a normal life. That was a lasting regret, and those are the few things that
Absolutely, Jayanti. In fact, she also had many rivals. Of course, politics and rivalry go hand in hand. But in Tamil Nadu, it was much more bitter, I would say, between Karunanidhi and Jayalalithaa in the political career that both of them shared for almost 3 decades. Karunanidhi and Jayalalithaa hardly exchanged pleasantries. So vitiated was this hate politics that the High Court had to intervene and say that the hate politics should not be happening in Tamil Nadu. Jayanti, after MGR, it was not Janaki who was a big competitor or rival for Jayalalithaa. It was Karunanidhi. And in Tamil Nadu, it's always been about rivalry between Karunanidhi and Jayalalithaa.
Knew her, I've met her as well. I was in Parliament by that time. I don't think Miss Janaki Ramachandran was ever really interested in politics. She was not a political person. She was Mr. MGR's wife. She was a housewife. She was an actor before that, and she acted with Mr. MGR. So I think it was no great leap for Miss Janaki to leave the party with Miss Jayalalithaa and retire gracefully, especially when she knew that she couldn't hold the fort or the party together. Whereas Mr. Karunanidhi, on the other hand, who's a very seasoned, very, very astute politician.
Well, Jayanti, just hold your thought. Just hold your thought. We will take a look at what caused the acrimony between Jayalalithaa and Karunanidhi and why it soared with the time.
When Jayalalithaa made her film debut, Karunanidhi, a successful and much sought-after scriptwriter, was already deeply engaged in politics. But decades later, their paths would cross, as would their swords, in what was to become one of the most vitriolic relationships in Indian politics. The die was already cast, with Jayalalithaa entering politics at the behest of MGR, Karunanidhi's bête noire, in 1982. But it took 7 years for the rivalry to come to a head. It remains one of the most disputed, dramatic and unfortunate episodes of Tamil Nadu politics.
What happened was, 91-96, there were a series of corruption cases, and one of the cases, the High Court judge even said why no action was being taken against her, and Karnataka very reluctantly arrested her and put her in jail. And of course, she was in jail for 10 days and she got bail. She felt utterly humiliated. She vowed to take revenge on that. And then when she came back to power, she arrested Karunanidhi, but she could not make out a case against him, any corruption or anything like that. She was dragged out and humiliated. This is tit-for-tat politics.
On March 25, 1989, Jayalalithaa, the state's first woman leader of opposition, having united the AIADMK after a succession battle, was attacked by a DMK minister in the state's legislative assembly. She compared herself to Draupadi, said her sari had been pulled and torn, demanding that the DMK government be dismissed. 8 months later, she swept the Lok Sabha election with Ally Congress and in 1991 became Chief Minister for the first time. 5 years later, in 1996, the Karunanidhi government made sure the disproportionate assets case against Jayalalithaa gained enough publicity and legal procedures were followed. In 2001, Jaya extracted her pound of flesh, putting both Karunanidhi and his son M.K. Stalin behind bars in a sordid episode, criticized for police excesses and abuse of state machinery. Every 5 years, the two leaders replaced each other as chief ministers, reversed schemes, extracted revenge. In 2015, Karunanidhi's party appealed against Jayalalitha's acquittal at the Supreme Court in the disproportionate assets case. The DMK chief raised questions about the chief minister's health that followed her to Apollo Hospital in September this year. But political observers say Jayalalithaa may have dealt the final blow, doing what her mentor did 3 decades back, keeping Karunanidhi out of power for 2 consecutive terms.
Jayalalithaa and Shashikala had a 3-decade-long friendship. Their relationship, like any other, saw many ups and downs. There was love, hate, anger, betrayal, jealousy, all sorts of emotions that they went through. In fact, many say that they were perhaps alter egos of each other. However, one thing is very clear, that perhaps no one knew Jayalalithaa as well as Shashikala Natarajan does. And that's why the question that's being asked is that after Jayalalithaa, will Shashikala be her heir apparent? Will she take over the reins of the AIADMK, or will she be sidelined?
In life and death, one person was a constant presence by Jayalalitha's side, her close and trusted aide, Sasikala. Today, as pictures of Amma's funeral streamed across the nation, her faithful shadow was right by her side. It was Sasikala Natarajan and her family who were prominent right to the end. The dominating presence of Sasikala in a black sari and red-rimmed eyes was seen by many as symbolic of the access to power that the former video store owner enjoyed for decades as the other occupant of Jayalalitha's Pose Garden home in Chennai.
Shashikala could have been behind the scenes all this while, but one cannot rule out that important leaders in the AIADMK were handpicked by Shashikala. The new Tamil Nadu Chief Minister O. Paneerselvam is a Shashikala loyalist and also belongs to her community. While Jayalalitha's word was ultimate, Shashikala also had a say in the party. In the coming days, Shashikala will obviously try to bring the party under her wings.
By dint of her closeness with Jaya, Sasikala has, after her demise, emerged as a key figure in Tamil Nadu politics. Sources say that Sasikala's choice will eventually be selected as the General Secretary of the party now.
With the passing away of Jayalalithaa, the undisputed leader of the single largest party in Tamil Nadu, another era in Dravidian politics has come to an end, and the AIADMK is now at crossroads to reinvent itself. It is going to be interesting to watch how the AIADMK will be in a post-Jayalalithaa scenario.
59-year-old Sasikala has never held a post in the party or government, and that is how Jayalalithaa preferred it for close to 3 decades. Though the former CM confided in her and relied on her for advice, the other disadvantage in Sasikala's corner is that she faces corruption cases linked to her unaccounted wealth and land deals. Sources say many AIADMK leaders feel inclined to distance the party from these cases. Remember that stories of Sasikala and her family making money by wrongful means were cited as one of the main reasons for the defeat of Jayalalithaa in the 1996 elections. Sasikala and Jaya have had an association since 1980s, and the former soon became a permanent fixture in Amma's life. Sasikala and her family were often dubbed the Manargudi Mafia, ruling from Jaya's residence in Pose Garden. Jayalalithaa was criticized for the extravagant wedding of Sasikala's nephew, adopted by the Chief Minister as a foster son in 1995. An image of the two dressed in almost identical jewelry and saris became one of the most abiding images of Jayalalitha's life. But there was more in this saga of friendship. On 17 December 2011, Jayalalithaa asked the Managudi clan to pack up and leave her house. Even Sasikala was expelled from the party. Some of her family members were even put behind bars for making money through illegal means. But this did not last long, and Sasikala was back in Jaya's life in 2012 after she disowned her family. Jaya and Sasikala were sometimes called alter egos, and in the 3 decades of friendship, there was love, affection, commitment, emotional blackmail and betrayal.
With the death of Jayalalithaa, is this the end of Sasikala in Tamil Nadu politics, or will she continue to be a key player? Whatever be the case, she will have to hold a key position in the party to have power in Tamil Nadu. With Priyamvada, Lokpriya and Madhav Das Gopalakrishnan in Chennai, Geeta Mohan for NewsX.
The maverick Jayalalithaa enjoyed a huge popularity in Tamil Nadu, but many wondered why her tryst with Delhi was so short-lived. In 1998, Jayalalithaa joined hands with NDA to help Vajpayee form the government. But after the infamous Tea Party in 1999, she teamed up with her rival Sonia Gandhi only to topple the government. That was the first glimpse people of Delhi got about Tamil Nadu's Chennai matriarch. That was Jayalalithaa for them. She was the astute politician, she was diplomatic, but at the same time a decisive politician, and she proved to be a force to reckon with.
Jayalalithaa had always preferred the state stage to the national arena. However, she made one rare exception. In 1998, when she teamed up to support Atal Bihari Vajpayee's NDA. With 30 MPs, she was NDA's most influential partner. But the bonhomie between the two didn't last long. For even at the national level, her eye has always been on the state. Upset that the NDA was not imposing precedence rule in Tamil Nadu and dismissing the government there, she used a politically correct pretext to flout, demanding the resignation of the Defence Minister George Fernandes over Coffin Gate. Then she teamed up with an old rival and Congress President Sonia Gandhi to pull down the Vajpayee-led government.
To the President, communicating the decision of the AIADMK to withdraw its support to the government headed by Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee with immediate effect.
The infamous Tea Party, organized by Subramaniam Swamy, which brought Sonia and Jaya on the same platform, is even today a landmark moment in national history.
First week of 1999, she said, "I've had enough. I've been scraping the bottom of the barrel." Her exact phrase was that. She's very good. I mean, she's convent educated, so all her phraseology is typically Anglo-Saxon. She said, "I've been scraping the bottom of the barrel. No more. You have to promise now to bring it down."
Jayalalithaa withdrew support and the Vajpayee government lost the vote of confidence by just one vote. This was also the first time that the people of Delhi got a glimpse of the matriarch of Madras.
She fought it like anything. Nobody can question her fighting skills. But, the rest of the things after MGR's death and 1981, ever since Jayalalithaa came back to power, this is basically, I can say that in the past 26 years of her governance is a mixed bag.
With a soft-spoken, convent-educated English, she charmed the capital and sent shivers down the spines of the politicians. She had then refused to be part of a national coalition, leaving that space to the DMK, preferring to use her numbers in the Lok Sabha as a bargaining clout with the party in power.
2016, Jayalalithaa was re-elected to power in the state. Now this was a coup of sorts, as the state sees a yo-yo trend in politics, and also most political pundits had projected a DMK victory. So not only was this a rejection of the revolving door policy that had come to dominate politics in Tamil Nadu, but she was also now the only leader apart from MGR who was re-elected after completing a full 5-year term. Here's the story of Jayalalitha's last historic election.
Jayalalithaa என்னும் நான் தமிழ்நாட்டு அரசின் முதலமைச்சர் என்ற முறையில்
two figures have dominated Tamil Nadu politics for decades. And 2016 was no different. All political pundits looking at the yo-yo trend of Tamil Nadu politics had predicted that the DMK would come back to power. Jaya's conviction in the DA case and the chaos after Chennai floods were two issues that Jaya's political rivals were heavily banking on to ensure her defeat on the back of a predicted anti-incumbency. But did these issues really matter for Amma's voters? Jaya bucked the trend and made history, ending a 32-year record in Tamil Nadu politics. She came back with a bang as the Chief Minister for the second consecutive term, and there was widespread jubilation, especially among the women. It was open season in Tamil Nadu, as Jaya had promised a number of freebies to voters in her election manifesto. Gold ornaments for brides from families below the poverty line, 50% subsidy for working women to purchase mopeds, free mobile phones, and 500 rupee gift coupons on Pongal were some of her sops, and they went a long way in propelling her to victory. So what was this force that propelled her to a historic win and stalled the trend in Tamil Nadu politics? Many say it was her bounty. A benevolent Amma who gave generously and made life easy for her people, especially the women. From free mixer grinders to gold ornaments for poor brides, a 50% subsidy for working women to purchase mopeds and free mobile phones. All were election promises made in her manifesto. Amma promised and gave, and that benevolence propelled her to a victory.
Closing, huh?
That's all we have time for. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to our guests.